all of you who are present, who are eligible to be sworn in to the California State Bar, stand please and raise your right hand.
I hereby move that the new admittees present today be accepted as practicing attorneys by the State Courts of California.
Please repeat after me. I solemnly affirm I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of an attorney and counselor at law to the best of my ability. I now find that you are members of the bar and subject to my rulings.
Congratulations. I now adjourn this special session of the Superior Court of California. Our next guest is the Honorable Terry Hatter, Senior U.S. District Court Judge for the Central District of California, and he is here to administer the oath for the federal bar.
President Bergen, Dean Gold, my esteemed colleague just gave a wonderful address, Judge Duffy Lewis, other members here on the dais. I want to congratulate all of you, but I particularly want to congratulate those parents, spouses, significant others who have gone through hell with you for these last 3 or 4 years. They deserve the congratulations, as you well know. I was particularly struck by some of the things that I heard my colleagues say to you, particularly about women in the law. It made me think. My mother became a lawyer back in the 40s. Went to law school at night in Chicago, finished first in her class while she was teaching high school English in the day, and I was a high school student myself. She never forgave me for not going into practice with her, but I was an only child, a son at that, and we were too much alike. She could certainly be my mother, but not my law partner. And she never forgave me for not going into practice with her, and one of the reasons I moved to California. Really. And all I can say about her, if she hadn't been a devout Methodist, she would have been a great Jewish mother. And she was a wonderful role model, though, and now even my youngest, the fourth of my children, is a fourth generation lawyer. My mother's father also had gone to law school, but did not practice. I thought, too, about some of the names that Judge Duffy Lewis used, people who were professors when she was here. They were colleagues of mine at that time, because I taught here before many of you were born, back in the very early 70s. And it was a wonderful time. It's like coming home for me. And of course, I was asked to come here by one of your most respected professors. We heard from one of them earlier today, but Professor Gary Williams. I have such great respect for him. When he asked me if I would come, there's hardly anything that's reasonable that he would ask that I would not do. And I would just suggest to you that you conduct yourselves that way so that you have the respect of the jurors before whom you appear, and also your opponents. It's so important that you have your PC with you all the time, and I'm not talking about a personal computer. I mean perfect civility, and we heard the president talk about that. It's so very important, and I'm so used to saying to people that the most civil lawyers I see before me, and I've been Superior Court judge some 31 years ago, on this bench now for 31 years, the most civil lawyers that I tend to see are the criminal lawyers. And that's simply because it's a much smaller bar, and they see each other over and over again, so they know they have to be decent with each other. And certainly before me, they better be decent. But it's important for those of you who practice other kinds of law that you also be civil, that you earn the respect of the court, your colleagues, and particularly of your opponents. I don't think there's any better profession than ours. There's no other profession that allows you to do so many different things without ever leaving it. And we constantly hear about people who say, oh, gee, I just hate the law and I don't want to do that. And of course, many of those people are ones who came during the economic downturn, didn't know what to do with themselves, never should have come into law. But I've always said that even if you never practice law, just getting a fine legal education such as you have gotten here, whether you ever practice law itself, it's not important because it teaches you a certain way of dealing with life, with analyzing and learning to be fair. So carry that with you. And I used to remember students saying to me sometimes, well, gee, there seem to be so many lawyers out there. Professor, do you think I made a mistake? And I would say, no, there'll never be enough good lawyers. So just keep that in mind. Now, those of you who have chosen to be sworn into the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, and of course that also requires $200 as well, so probably not all of you have chosen to do so, but for those of you who have, please rise at this time. It's my great pleasure to administer the oath of admission on behalf of the judges of the United States District Court for the Central District of California, and I do that particularly as Chief Judge Emeritus. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the government of the United States, that I will maintain the respect due to the courts of justice and the judicial officers, and that I will demean myself as an attorney, proctor, advocate, solicitor, and counselor of this court uprightly. So help me God. I extend my congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you. And I noticed that several of you hesitated when we got to demean. Just go look at the dictionary. There are a lot of definitions of demean.
It's now my pleasure to present John Horn, President of the Alumni Association Board of Governors.
All right, I'm here to swear you into the Alumni Association, but you all get to stay seated, so don't worry about it. How cool was it to drive onto campus as an alum, right? No books in the car, no exam, no worry about where the coffee's going. On behalf of the Board of Governors, I want to just thank you for your time spent at Loyola and welcome you to the Board of Governors. You know, the other day we had our alumni reunion. Over 500 people at the Montage Hotel. I expect to see you all starting next year. And one of our honorees was Professor Levinson. And like Bill Coskren, I had the pleasure of taking Professor Levinson. It was a great pleasure and honor to present the award to her. And in typical Levinson style, she brings up all of her students onto the dais to share the moment with her. And literally, there's over 500 people. There must have been 200 people, it seems like, on the dais. And as I was looking around, I was thinking, there's really quite a community. And Judge Duffy Lewis talked about standing on the shoulders. And you think about your classmates, and you've kind of got that horizontal relationship. And trust me, as you go out and practice and so on, and not everybody's going to do the same thing, and you're all going to travel at different speeds, but you're going to know that you've got your classmates, and it's really cool when you run into them, especially 15, 20 years down the line, and you catch up or you make a referral or something like that. But looking around, I realized that there's a huge vertical relationship too with Loyola, and that's really where the Alumni Association's involved. And I hope that you'll all be involved when you go out and come back to campus again. It gets better. Okay, every time you come to campus and you don't have to do any studying, it gets better. And so you'll start volunteering, and you'll go to the events, and you'll be mentors, which is one of the programs, and we have several other programs. You'll sign up to Loyola Connect, and you'll stay in contact, and you'll be good Loyola people, and that's really all that we ask. So on behalf of the Alumni Association, congratulations. To my former students out there, you'll be using those decision trees sooner than you think. And to all of you from me, I wish you best wishes for a bright and happy future.
Thank you very much, John. So there are a couple of logistical details that I want to kind of convey to you as we come to the end of this program. But I do want to take this one moment to talk to you not as the Associate Dean of Faculty, but as a professor who sees many faces in the audience that I saw 3 or 4 years ago starting out. And I have such a clear recollection of coming on campus for orientation, and you're vibrating with anxiety, right? And I remember tears in my office and my reassurance that really you should be here. We didn't make a mistake. Nobody's going to kind of find out and come haul you out of class, right? And when I look out at you, at all of you, and I see the poise and the confidence and the kind of professional people that you have turned into, it just makes my heart sing. Really does. So on behalf of the law school community, I would like to thank Professor Ives and President Bertram, Dean Gold, Judge Hatter, Judge Duffy Lewis, and Mr. Horn for participating in these ceremonies with us today. New admittees, you should all go directly to Donovan Hall to submit your oath cards. If you have taken the oath for the federal bar, you too need to fill out the necessary forms in Donovan. For the rest of you, I invite you to stay for the reception, which is going to be held right there across the way on the esplanade next to the parking structure. Thank you again for coming, and congratulations.